I'm just a beta living in an ABO world. The cold and aloof boss was drugged and mistook me for the omega he liked. Oscar is the main lead of the story in Srank Alpha while I'm just a random background beta. A month later, I somehow ended up pregnant. Before I could even do anything about it, Oscar showed up. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. I felt utterly drained, but my mind was unusually clear. I couldn't figure out how things had spiraled into this mess. All I did was go on a business trip with my boss and attend a banquet. And somehow we ended up in bed together. What shocked me even more was that the usually cold and restrained boss turned out to be surprisingly clingy. Even in his sleep, he refused to let go of me, holding me tightly in his arms. I had just pushed his hand off. And a second later, he reached out to hold me again. He even started muttering in his sleep. Am I not good enough? Why don't you like me? Why do you keep pushing me away? At the same time, floating bullet comments popped up in front of my eyes. Why is this side character so shameless? He knew the alpha was drugged and still went for it. You're a beta. Just stop inserting yourself. When is our sweet little omega finally going to show up? We want to see that beautiful AO romance. Oscar wouldn't have mistaken him if they didn't look alike and Marco hadn't clearly tried to seduce him. So annoying. Seduce him. Me. I had just walked through the door when Oscar came at me like a starving wolf spotting prey. Pinned me right against the door and kissed me hard. My body felt like it had been run over by a truck again and again. The comments kept flashing by. And that's when I realized. This world I was in was from a melodramatic BL novel. Oscar is the male lead. The main love interest is Jang Shuyu, a stunning and sweet omega who's currently studying abroad. Of course, Oscar would fall for someone like him. Not for a beta like me. Plain looks. No ability to smell pheromones. Always stuck at the bottom of society. Even getting invited on this business trip was pure dumb luck. The boss's assistant got sick last minute and I was pulled in as a fill-in. I sighed inwardly resigned. Then carefully slipped out of Oscar's arms. I picked up a few random pieces of clothing from the floor and draped them over myself. Then quietly left the room. Oscar had been drugged. His mind hazy. Mistaking someone wasn't surprising. By the time he wakes up, he won't even know it was me. I hadn't gone far before my knees almost buckled. It hurt so bad. 2. I found a nearby cheap motel and stayed there for the night. The next morning, I was woken up by a loud, jarring ringtone. Still half asleep, I answered the call. Marco. Where did you go? Oscar's deep, furious voice came through the line. I tried to speak, but my throat was raw and my voice. Oscar immediately sounded worried. What's wrong? Are you feeling sick? I sat up and drank a glass of water, barely able to get out a full sentence. Sorry, Oscar. I forgot my room card last night. I tried calling you but couldn't get through. So I just booked another room outside. I'm fine. Nothing's wrong physically. There was a few seconds of silence on the other end about last night. I quickly cut him off. I wasn't there last night. Did something happen? Are you okay, Oscar? Oscar sounded even more irritated. Where are you now? I need to see you right now. All right, I'll come back immediately. After hanging up, I calmly headed back to the hotel. I even changed into clothes similar to what I wore yesterday, just in case Oscar noticed something. As I stepped inside, I could have sworn Oscar let out a cold snort. Like I was the heartless jerk who'd slept with him and ghosted. The room had been tidied up. No longer the mess it was the night before. He stood by the door with his arms crossed, staring at me with an accusing look. I was drugged last night. No one else had the key to that room but you. So, what do you think we should do now? I put on my most shocked expression. Should we call the police right away? I'm sure the hotel surveillance still works. Oscar, how's your body? Are you okay? I was playing along perfectly. But inside I was panicking. If they really checked the surveillance and found out it was me, what would Oscar do? I'm just a powerless, ordinary beta. If you wanted to destroy me, it'd be as easy as squashing a bug. Forget it. Oscar glanced at me. Expression unreadable. I'll investigate on my own. Once I find out who it was. He suddenly stopped mid-sentence. I asked nervously. What will you do? Oscar stared straight at me, lips curling up slightly. I have my own ways of dealing with them. More bullet comments flashed across my vision. Seriously. This extra still has delusions. Just be grateful you got to sleep with our alpha god. Can we fast forward? I don't care about this irrelevant side character. I want to see the main couple's angsty reunion already. If Oscar finds out who it was, he'll go berserk. He's totally unhinged. That extra is screwed. My heart clenched painfully. Is this what always happens to characters like me? Lost in thought, I followed Oscar back to the office. 3. The car was quiet the whole way. Every now and then, I could feel a gaze, light but unmistakable, falling on me. As we turned a sharp corner, the curve was too wide, and my body inevitably tilted toward Oscar. I grabbed onto the handlebar with all my strength, just barely avoiding falling into his arms. Oscar suddenly spoke. Marco, you're a beta. I adjusted my legs and sat upright. Yes, sir. His gaze, intense and focused, turned toward me. So that means you can't smell pheromones. I nodded. Yeah, that's how betas are. We can't smell anything. Ordinary, average. No strong build like an alpha. No delicate looks like an omega. No scent bonds. Oscar muttered under his breath. Betas aren't so bad either. The silence returned, but strangely the mood in the car felt lighter. It was like the oppressive air had lifted and Oscar seemed almost in a good mood. Back at the office, my work buddy Leo handed me a dessert. It was a pretty little box of raspberry basque cheesecake. Leo made it himself. He often brought sweets to share with us. He was a cheerful, sweet-tempered omega and got along with everyone. So, Marco, Leo leaned in with curiosity. How was your 3-day toy getaway with the big boss? Thinking of last night's disaster, I gave a helpless smile. I never mind. I'd rather not talk about it. It was just work. Nothing more. Leo tiptoed closer and whispered in my ear. Did anyone tell you? You weak of the boss's scent right now. It's really strong. If I didn't know better, I'd think something happened between you two. But you're a beta, so it makes sense you wouldn't notice. No wonder Oscar asked if I was a beta back in the car. Did he already suspect something? The office was quiet. Everyone else had stepped out, leaving just me and Leo. Before I could stop myself, I blurted out. What does the boss's scent smell like? Leo leaned in to sniff me. It's this kind of crisp, woody smell with a hint of sweetness. No one really dares to ask him exactly what it is. But whatever you've got on you now, that's definitely his scent. I raised my arm and sniffed hard, trying to catch it. But I couldn't smell a thing. Just a faint trace of laundry detergent. A bit disappointed, I asked, is it nice? Leo waved his hand. That depends on your taste. I personally don't like it. I only like my guy's scent. Otherwise, he'd totally get jealous. Right. Leo had been in a long-term relationship. They were pretty sweet together. Before the workday ended, I quietly filled out my resignation form. Even though I had fought hard for this job, I was more afraid of what would happen if Oscar found out the truth. 4. Back in college, Oscar had been a legend, always surrounded by a circle of wealthy young alphas, each one more elite than the last. At the top of the social food chain, Oscar was the most outstanding among them, the highest-ranked alpha. And he had already started his own company before even graduating. A big reason I joined his company was because of him. People are always drawn to what they admire. When I realized I had feelings for him, I just wanted to be a little closer. I never expected anything more. Certainly not what ended up happening between us. After all, I knew I was just a beta. As I left the office, the Dan Miku barrage appeared again. To admit, at least this extra has some self-awareness. Resigning on his own. He'd better disappear quietly before the sweet little Omega comes back. We don't need him in the way. He's a beta. It's not like he can get pregnant. Just a one-night stand. Nothing more. That night, I'd been so focused on getting away. I hadn't taken any precautions. After all, I was a beta. Pregnancy wasn't even possible. Oscar wouldn't need to take responsibility. Back at my apartment, I felt a sudden emptiness. I had no idea what to do next. Since graduation, I'd only ever chased after Oscar's footsteps, trying to get closer. I'd never thought about what my life should look like. I spent a few days lying around in a daze until an unexpected message came in. Bro, I'm already at the station. I'll be at your place in 15 minutes. I had a younger brother, an Omega named Weston. He was very good-looking, and naturally, our family favored him more. They pinned all their hopes on him marrying a powerful alpha to elevate our family status. With Weston suddenly showing up, I had no choice but to tidy up a bit. At least make myself look presentable. As soon as he stepped in, he looked around in disgust. Bro, what kind of dump are you living in? You've been working for 3 years and you still haven't saved any money? I'm moving next month. By the way. He pulled a keychain from his bag covered in cute trinkets. Look. My boyfriend gave me this. It's for a luxury suite at a 5-star chain. He said we'll get married after I graduate. Weston had always been charming. He had no shortage of alphas chasing after him. Now in college, he was dating a very wealthy guy and they seemed genuinely happy. And just like that, I suddenly felt envious. Why is happiness so easy for some people and me? After all these years, I had nothing. Even my unreachable crush on Oscar was ending before it even began. 5. So why are you here? Weston and I were never close. He was spoiled from birth, had every advantage, and could never understand what it was like for someone ordinary like me. He looked down on me for being a beta. He walked straight to the fridge, grabbed a drink, and popped it open. Ever since you started working, you barely call home anymore. Mom and Dad say you're an ungrateful brat. They sent me to check if you dropped dead out here. He was dressed head to toe in designer brands. His look trendy and polished. Fair skin, soft curls, round cheeks, almond eyes. A textbook sweet-faced Omega. It wasn't hard to see why so many people liked him. I made up a half-hearted excuse. I've just been too busy with work to call. Well, now you've seen me. You can go. Weston tossed his bag on the couch and flopped down. He put his drink on the coffee table without even noticing it had spilled a bit. I'm getting married soon. Aren't you going to show some kind of support? Otherwise, my boyfriend might think our family's cheap. So that's why he came. Money. No concern. No brotherly affection. I didn't want to argue. I'll transfer it to your account. Despite everything, my salary at Oscar's company had been decent. And I'd never been into luxury or spending. So I'd saved up quite a bit over the years. That night, while eating dinner, a wave of nausea hit me out of nowhere. I barely made it to the bathroom in time to throw up. Weston looked puzzled. Bro, did you eat something bad? We ate the same food. I nodded weakly. Probably. Between my irregular schedule and the stress lately, it made sense. Weston studied me for a moment. Then said, "You know, if you weren't a beta, I'd almost think you were pregnant." "How could that be? I'm a beta through and through." I laughed it off before he could say more. But over the next few days, the nausea didn't go away, and I started to feel weird discomfort in my stomach. A ridiculous thought flashed through my mind. Could I actually be pregnant? 6. Taking advantage of the dark and quiet night, I fully geared up and went to the pharmacy to buy a pregnancy test. I took the test, stared at the glaring 2 lines. My heart sank. The next day, I went straight to the nearest hospital for a checkup. Sure enough, there was a baby inside me. Did Oscar and I really sleep together that night? And it hit the mark in one shot. The Danica popped up. A beta extra pregnant with the alpha lead's kid. Does that even make sense? Scheming for sure. Must have used some trick to claim status by the father's identity. No wonder he quit so abruptly. He's been waiting, planning to use the secret child to threaten the lead later. I've learned to calmly face the Danmaku now. They always attack me and make harsh assumptions. But these things are not what I intended. Do I want to be some extra? Do I want to be a beloved Omega? I just happened to like someone. There was a message from Leo on my phone. "Marco, the boss probably found out about your resignation. First thing when he got back from abroad was to ask where you went. I told him you took leave to visit your hometown, but who knows how long I can keep that up. Can I ask why you're hiding it? Did something happen between you and the boss?" I replied, "It's nothing. I just suddenly felt tired and wanted to rest for a while." Oscar's smart enough. He must have figured out it was me that night. This child can't stay. He wouldn't let me keep it anyway. After a long mental struggle, I decided to terminate the pregnancy. I'm a beta. What if the baby was born with defects? A child born without love or hope wouldn't have a happy life. While I was dazed on the sofa, someone suddenly knocked on the door. I jumped. The loud knocking in the still night sounded eerie. I don't have many friends. Only Leo sometimes visits. No one else knows where I live. "Who is it?" I asked cautiously. "It's me." Oscar's deep voice came from outside. I opened the door and saw Oscar standing there, chilled to the bone, holding a suitcase. I was stunned. "Oscar, what are you doing here?" He stared at me steadily. "Why did you resign?" I dryly lied. "I haven't been feeling well lately. So I quit." Luckily, Oscar and I aren't that close. If it were Leo, he'd easily see through my poor lie. 7. Oscar raised an eyebrow. Not even inviting me in for some tea. I suddenly realized we were awkwardly standing by the door talking. I immediately stepped aside to let him in. Oscar strode into my tiny apartment, tall and dressed in a designer suit. He made my simple room look even shabbier. I was in a baggy sweatshirt and jeans, kind of like those desserts Leo made. We were both sweet but messy like snow matchi and a dirty bun. While I was still in a daze, Oscar reached the living room. The pregnancy test. Oh no. My pregnancy test from yesterday was still on the table. The moment Oscar picked it up, I lunged forward. That's Weston's." He was too embarrassed to say. So, he used my name. At that moment, Weston came out of the bedroom and froze when he saw the stranger. "Bro, who's this?" The 3 of us looked at each other. Weston's eyes suddenly lit up. He walked over and whispered to me, "He's so handsome. Can I get his contact info?" I tugged at Weston's sleeve, signaling him to behave. "Weston, don't mess around. He's my boss." Weston's mischief distracted Oscar. I took the chance to grab the pregnancy test, crumpled it, and shoved it into my pocket. "Oscar, this is my brother, Weston." Oscar glanced at Weston briefly, then looked away. Dan Maku floated by the extra's brother is really cute. Another sweet omega added to the family. Not just, but a great personality, too. Who wouldn't love such a lively, adorable omega? Growing up, countless people compared Weston and me, always saying I wasn't as good. The adults would point fingers, saying, "The little brother is so pretty and sweet. How come the older brother is? Well, at least he's quiet and obedient." I'd even gotten used to it. But what about Oscar? Seeing Weston, he probably felt even more disappointed in me, thinking I couldn't compare to his own younger brother. The room was quiet. Our whispered conversation was practically broadcasted. Oscar heard everything clearly. He forced a polite smile. "Sorry. I can't give you my contact info. And I'm here for Marco. I have some things to say to him. Can you step out for a bit?" Weston pouted and walked back to the bedroom, clearly unhappy. He'd been staying at my place these days and naturally took over the master bedroom in my 2-bedroom apartment. His stuff was everywhere and the place was a little messy. Would Oscar think I was a total slob? That thought made me uneasy. "Oscar, have a seat. I'll get you some water." 8. Oscar arrived looking travel-worn, dragging his suitcase. He'd come straight to my place right after getting off the plane. There was only one answer. He knew I was the person from that night. "Marco, there are things I need to say." I placed a disposable cup of water in front of him. My hand trembled. I couldn't meet his eyes. "Boss, go ahead." His tall figure loomed over me, the light casting only his shadow. "Is the child mine?" I shook my head immediately and forced a calm smile. My words came out all tangled. "Boss. No. It's not mine. How could I, a beta, be pregnant? If it were possible, I'd have been taken away for research already." Oscar stepped closer, looking down at me, like he'd seen through my act. "I saw it. The test has your name and age on it. Everything matches." Then Oscar's eyes re-aimed. Tears welled up, ready to spill. When he looked at me, his eyes were full of hurt. I'm the one who should feel wronged, right? Being drugged without knowing, waking up to find no one there, and the assistant I liked gone. Not only was my innocence taken, but I know it was you, and all you thought about was running away. Never once thinking about taking responsibility. Now you're even hiding the fact that you're pregnant with my child. Planning to abort it in secret? Marco, you have no heart. You don't recognize me when you get out of bed. You're heartless and cold. And yet, you look so good and sing so well. You're a two-faced person, sleeping with me and then refusing to take responsibility. If I'd known betas were this cold and ruthless, I would have. I still like you. Oscar's accusations caught me off guard. Not just me. Dan Maku was full of question marks. 2. Whoever you are, get off our crazy alpha lead. Great. Another love-crazed alpha with no hope. So Oscar's always liked Marco. No first love at all. Well then, time to jump ship. I take back what I said before. Marco. Sorry for judging you too soon. Sorry. The cold, fierce alpha turned into a crying little puppy. Betas are the real gods here. 9. Oscar. Please don't cry. Seeing Oscar suddenly tear up, I panicked, not knowing what to do. I didn't mean to avoid responsibility. It's just please listen to my explanation. Oscar's expression immediately hardened, and he wiped away his tears. Okay. I'm listening. Dan Maku. Is this the art of changing faces? Master? I get it now. One moment crying. Next moment smiling. Oscar. Look at you. So priceless. Sorry. First love. I ship this now. What are you all shipping upstairs? The lead is clearly just playing around. Which bad lead hasn't made mistakes when young? First love is the real deal. I ignored the danmaku and my mind raced. But I couldn't make sense of it. What exactly is Oscar's situation now? Before I could figure it out, nausea surged in my stomach. Ugh. I rushed to the bathroom and vomited violently. Oscar handed me tissues and water, though I was the one feeling sick. His eyes were redder than before, full of concern. Patting my back gently, he choked up. Seeing you like this hurts me. I don't know how you've gotten through these days. Have you felt sick every day? It's my fault for not noticing sooner. I should have come back earlier. Sorry. Marco. Will you take responsibility for me and the child? From now on, my money is yours. The company is yours. The home is yours. Whatever you say goes. As long as you want me. Danmaku. Crying again. Always crying. Wife's heart is melting. Men who cry get wives. I can only say who should be responsible here. Oscar's confession caught me completely off guard. I didn't dare believe it. What if, like the Damocus said, he was just playing around? How could such a brilliant S-level alpha fall for a plain beta like me? Can you give me some time? I need to process this. Oscar. Sure, I'll wait for you. 10. After Oscar left, Weston came out shyly. Bro. What do I do? I think I've fallen in love with your boss at first sight. You're my brother. You have to help me. I frowned. Don't you already have a boyfriend? Weston pouted unhappily. But he's not handsome at all. Old and ugly. If it weren't for his money, I wouldn't be with him. I was shocked and angry. Weston. Who taught you to think like this? Weston had been spoiled his whole life. Getting the best of everything. How did his values get so twisted? Looking at his indifferent expression, I realized it was my parents doing raised him to marry into wealth and had huge expectations for him. At home, I was the one doing all the chores. Weston did nothing. Mom always said, Weston will marry into a rich family and live a life of luxury. He just needs to look good every day. Marco, you're a beta. You need to learn to be independent. No one will take care of you later. Seeing me angry, Weston suddenly clung to my arm, trying to make peace. Okay, bro. I'm just joking. But I felt a strange unease growing inside me. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I spent the whole night sleepless. Oscar's face and words repeating in my mind. My heart raced unnaturally. At dawn, Weston woke me up noisily. Bro. Get up for breakfast. Then we'll go to the hospital. Half asleep. I asked, are you sick? Weston skillfully fried 2 eggs and placed them on noodles sprinkled with scallions. The aroma filled the air. He turned around with a scowl. Come on. I'm taking you. Okay. How can a single beta have a baby? I saw the report yesterday. It's dangerous for betas to give birth. If you want to keep it, I won't stop you. I felt awkward. His tone was like a parent scolding a child for a mistake. Especially that line about a single beta. This is none of your business. I'll handle it myself. Danmaku. Marco is no less than Weston. Together they each have their own beauty. Marco has a delicate but unique look. What they call husband material. Honest beta vs. Fierce alpha. Such a delicious setup. Ship it all. 11. When I opened the door, Oscar was there directing movers. He greeted us cheerfully. You're awake. Good morning. Oscar. Why are you here? He had moved in across the hall. This neighborhood was average but cheap. How could someone like Oscar? Used to mansions and villas, live here? Marco. Don't worry about me. Do whatever you want. What I said last night is true. You must remember that. And I moved here to be closer to you. That way, I can know immediately if anything happens. But I'm not trying to spy or stalk you. If you hate seeing me here. Oscar had thought he could wait patiently for me to open up and confess. After all, he wasn't rejected that night. There had to be hope. But all he got was news of my resignation. Oscar sent people to follow me and quickly learned everything about me. When he found out I went to the hospital, he was immediately informed about the pregnancy. Oscar couldn't wait any longer. Afraid I'd run off, he dropped millions on a project and flew back overnight. He didn't even have time to drink water. Rushing straight to my place. Where are you headed? I'll give you a ride. The car is downstairs. No thanks. I just went downstairs to throw out the trash. Oscar quickly took the trash bag from my hands. I'll take care of this. I blinked, staring at my empty hands in confusion. Weston's voice brought me back. He was standing right behind me, winking and making faces during our conversation. If you had told me earlier he likes you, I wouldn't have said all that. Bro, don't overthink it. What's yours is yours. I'm not competing with you. It felt unreal. I still couldn't believe it. Was that really Oscar just now? Weston. Pinch me. Am I dreaming or still half asleep? Weston gave me a gentle pat on the shoulder. His gaze fell on my belly. The kid is his. He's got good taste. Your kid won't be ugly. Definitely going to be beautiful. My cheeks flushed red and I quickly closed the door. Out of view from across the hall, I finally exhaled. What nonsense are you talking? We have nothing going on. It's an hour commute from here to the company. Oscar would have to drive that far every day. Purely pointless. But whenever I faced Oscar, I was always nervous. As if walking on cotton. Unreal. If the dream ended, then there was nothing left. And so Oscar ended up living right across from me. 12. At night, Weston suddenly looked over at me while watching a show. There's such a strong scent of pheromones. Bro, did your kid's dad get into trouble? I was stunned for 2 seconds because I didn't smell anything. Weston covered his nose. I smelled his scent on you before. So it must be him. Maybe you should go check. After all, he is your kid's dad. I knocked on the door across the hall, but there was no answer. I had no choice but to call Oscar on my phone. It took 2 whole minutes before he picked up. Oscar, how are you? Are you home? I'm outside your door. Bang. The door opened from inside and a hand suddenly pulled me in. The room was dark and the scene overlapped bit by bit with that night a few weeks ago. Oscar pulled me into his arms. In a soft, aggrieved voice, he said, "My heat cycle seems to have come early. But I'm out of suppressants. I won't do anything to you. I just need 2 of your shirts." Okay. When an alpha is in heat, their emotions intensify. They get restless. And their desire for their partner deepens. They are prone to losing control. Seeing Oscar's reined eyes, my body trembled involuntarily, afraid he would rush me like that night. But now was not the time. There was a baby in my belly and it was dangerous. Oscar, please let go. You might press on my stomach. He didn't want to let go, but eased his grip reluctantly. Luckily, I couldn't smell his pheromones anymore, so I could still keep my head and take care of him. I called his personal assistant and asked for suppressants to be sent over. The tall alpha curled up on the bed, burning up, rubbing himself against some clothes for relief. But it didn't help. And he looked at me in pain. Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you. Can you hug me? I'm not an omega, so I have no pheromones to calm him. All I could do was hold him tightly. He curled into my arms, burying his head in my chest, holding my waist, clinging close to share warmth. Marco, baby, wife. I really like you. From the first time I saw you, I liked you so much. Say something, wife. I want to hear your voice. My face flushed uncontrollably. Oscar was too good at stirring feelings, saying things that made me blush. What should I say? Say anything. But if you say you love me, that'd be even better. I love you so much. I wish we could be together every day. It was hard not to admit that every word he said made my heart race. In 25 years, I never thought this day would come. Even if it was full of poison, I'd still drink it willingly because it was the first time I felt such openly passionate love. I wanted to be brave for once. Looking at Oscar's affectionate expression, no one could say no to him. I like you. Oscar. I like you. Really like you for many years. By the time the suppressants arrived, Oscar had calmed down a lot, but was still holding back. 13. After the rough moment, I went to my room for a shower. When I came out, Oscar was stubbornly waiting at my door. His eyes were red, looking terribly wronged, like a dog abandoned by its owner. My phone showed countless missed calls from him. I quickly opened the door to let him in. Before I could say anything, Oscar grabbed my shoulders tightly. Are you going to run away again? Marco. Why won't you give me even one chance? Why? Am I really that bad? You dodge me, push me away, and won't even stay a little longer. Sigh. I sighed helplessly. I never realized Oscar could be so stubborn. I patiently explained. I'm not running away. I just went home to change and shower. And you're not bad at all. You're the best alpha in the whole world. Oscar bent down and hugged me. I don't care. Marco. You've seen my body and slept with me. You have to take responsibility for me and the baby. Otherwise, I won't leave. A few minutes later, he suddenly let go. His mood became very low. He took a card from his drawer and handed it to me. I'm sorry for what happened that night. It was all my fault. If you hate me, I'll compensate you and stay away from you forever. There's 10 million on this card. As for the baby, do whatever you want with it. After saying this, Oscar lowered his head weakly like a withered flower losing petals one by one. I reached out and caught him. Holding his face, I stood on tiptoe and kissed him. Our warm lips pressed tightly together. Suddenly, the air filled with pink bubbles. Oscar's eyes widened, a mix of complicated emotions swirling inside. Oscar, don't say things like that anymore. You're great. I want to be with you and give you countless chances. I'll keep the baby, too. I'm really looking forward to his arrival. Oscar looked at me in disbelief. Really? Really? Marco? You're so good. Out of my sight. Oscar quietly smiled like his plan had succeeded. He smiled silently. I've been planning this a long time. I have a wife because I fight and compete for her and I can act too. Dan Maku. Who can act better than you? Those tears that fall just like that. Oscar is definitely the king of acting. LOL. So, it was planned all along. Finally found the way to handle his wife. 14. 4 days later, Oscar's heat cycle finally ended. I was relieved. Those days, I spent almost every minute at his place. If I left for even 2 minutes, I'd hear behind me, "Wah, where did my beta go? Marco, don't you want me anymore? Fine." I knew I'm a poor alpha nobody loves. Crying with tears falling. What else could I do? Spoil him? Of course. The house was filled with the strong scent of alpha pheromones. Weston went back home. Bro, I'm leaving first. If he stayed, He'd passively enter his heat cycle. 2. Making things worse. A few days after he left, I found a note on the fridge he left behind. Bro, take care of yourself. Stop eating those unhealthy takeouts every day. The veggies in the fridge are fresh. Remember to eat them before they spoil. Even though you're rich now. I personally bought all this from the market. Weston also secretly left a wad of cash under my pillow. You've always kept your troubles to yourself and never complained. But you're my bro. To be honest, sometimes I envy you. At least you are yourself. Free to be what you want. And now you even have your own happiness. I'm truly happy for you. If you have time, come home to visit. All along, I had seen myself as the victim. Always envying Weston. Only seeing his glamorous surface. But hadn't he been envying me? I could live selfishly for myself, while Weston carried the weight of our parents' expectations. Dan Maku. Both of them are good kids. Weston's pitiful, too. Though he's spoiled, he's just a tool for family alliances. No, Weston. Don't marry that rich ugly guy. Reading those notes, I felt mixed emotions. Weston grew up right behind me. He didn't really like his so-called rich boyfriend. That was arranged by my parents. Like the Damocus said, he was raised as a tool for family alliances. Though Weston's been a bit moody here lately, deep down he's a good person. After some questioning, he finally opened up. He actually liked an alpha, his junior at school. But that family wasn't wealthy. His parents disapproved and forced them apart. Then they forced Weston to marry an old ugly man. It broke my heart. I thought Weston would at least be happy. Thought our parents really loved him. But he too was powerless. Dan Maku. Weston. Bro got your back. Chasing freedom and true love is right. Don't waste your time and youth on someone you don't like. I'll talk to the parents for you. We only live once. Be brave. After a while, Weston messaged me. Bro. Thanks. Your support alone is enough. Wishing you happiness for life. 15. Later, I learned Oscar's plan had been in the works since college. Oscar. Why did you like me? Back then, I was so ordinary, always dusty and dull. Wearing cheap clothes. Always in the library or lab. I'm actually really into voices. I'm sensitive to sounds. We first met at the school auditorium. He was the outstanding graduate giving a speech. I was chosen to interact with him. After a few awkward words, I got nervous and froze. But that's when Oscar remembered me. Later at work, he'd always linger near my desk a little longer whenever he passed by. Just a second glance. In this thing called love, he's actually a coward, too. When I'm off work, I sing and post on a private account. One of my few hobbies. I don't have many friends or like socializing, so singing became a way to vent emotions. I never showed my face. But Oscar, naturally sensitive to voices, recognized my singing right away and became a loyal fan. He interacted with me every day. But I never realized it was him. There's always someone who spots you in the sea of people, sees your light, and falls for you, and keeps telling you every day they love you, making you believe you deserve to be loved. No matter if you're alpha, omega, or beta, you deserve it. Just because you're the one and only you in the world. No cannon fodder here. You're always the main character. Even that night, Oscar secretly recorded audio. That said, I still wondered. So, what really happened with the drugging? I swear I didn't do it. Oscar laughed. Marco. You silly. Clueless. Handsome dork. I like you. Always have. So, baby, haven't you realized? I wasn't drugged that night at all. Oscar rubbed his head against my neck. Switching to puppy mode. Baby. Can you understand me? It was my first time, too. And I'd been secretly crushing on you for a long time. I just couldn't hold back. It's my fault. Hit me if you want. I couldn't resist Oscar's cuteness at all. Oh well, guess I'm stuck with this scheming little alpha puppy for life.